We're live, Joe.
Okay, thanks.
Why you find out the guy from Coughlin label, man? I got him on my channel talking about how you full of shit. I'm in the party every day. Tell about every fucking day. I say, yo, you like that?
Yeah, I got 2 bullhorns in here. One's a little bit bigger. Got 2 bullhorns.
Yeah, another bullhorn.
Mini one.
I have a portable charger.
Awesome.
But I don't have a cord, so if you don't have a phone charger, you're not going to use it.
Crap, I forgot to bring that. Okay.
I forgot that too. I forgot the charger, but I forgot the cord.
I was going to bring like a whole bag of chargers and I forgot. Like I have all the chargers. Okay.
I actually went to the weekend. And we can't donate one fucking meeting. Don't cover this. They can't cover. They can't cover out there. Yeah. I want to ask you, the first person for the nation, why am I being we can't. And you got one meeting for the DC level. People had me call 4 cops on me and pushed me to the ground. Before they did that, I said we can't go to one fucking meeting, so we did it. And if we can't go to 110 then I highly fucking doubt it. Yeah, but it don't matter.
You want to say hi to everybody?
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? Just getting started. We're just settling in. We're getting a few more stragglers to get here. We're still relatively early. As I believe it's like 8:15 now. 8:16 rather. We're gonna wait until 8:30.
Awesome.
Don't tell them about DJL. Yeah, why are there no Asian Americans in this game? Are we stupid or are we too ugly? Which one is? Yeah, make a little bit of both. Yeah, I'm stupid out there. Yeah. I caught this one.
Joe Firestone already?
Yeah, he's right here.
Hey Joe, what's going on? How you doing, Joe?
Right here, Sharif. How are you?
Good.
All right, looking good.
Yeah, we have a few people here already. The Shane set up the food.
Yeah, I think I saw the booth there. Yeah, you're handing out food. That's always a good idea.
Doesn't matter what I've done to this game. It doesn't, Sean. Sean, cover the important people. Sean,
so we decided to set up here like
Sean, cover the committed one, like this guy right there. So committed. This guy's in the suit. You better talk to him. He couldn't go to sleep. I'm always laughing at mine.
We'll be like, some people might be crossing.
Right. Heard.
This is Sharif. He's the organizer of the event. He's offering us any assistance. So maybe like people will be like crossing the streets and come over the table.
More information on the side.
Why do you think make someone like me an activist? The reason why I'm activist is something you don't have time to do to a guy like me. And guess what? For your house on the flames right there. This is real activist right there. Real activist is not fucking have a bunch of homies and fucking let's get the fuck out of here.
Scott, right?
Dan.
Have we met before? No. Okay.
Very nice. Yeah, don't do that.
That's why they can't have you on other show. That's why this group is flown all around the country. It don't matter if he has fucking any medical experience. I was in medical school. I have hundreds of hours in the emergency room and the doctor's office. I've been working on this for a long ass time, but it don't matter what I do. It don't matter my work. What matters is that some people's gonna get leg up by good school. Thank you.
Anybody want to say anything to the live audience?
Well, folks, the protest has not officially started yet. People are setting up.
Much of the world takes for granted, but apparently it's
By the way, I'm Joe Firestone, your official commentator for the live stream.
Some people get
So thank you for joining us.
The day they had, they got all that.
Yeah, we're not blocking.
That's not me.
No, I don't think we expect too many people.
No, Medicare wrong. People like me. That's what this is about.
Healthcare is a human right,
Yeah, I
and it not only does lack of healthcare kill people, but it also ties people to top jobs, and it's an economic nightmare. So you put it all together, it's common sense that healthcare must be free at point of purchase. And Pfizer
Go get Hinkle, you fakes. Go get Hinkle.
be in front
Go. Hinkle, where you at, baby?
part of the problem that they
Where
could
you at,
be.
man? Big ass. Yo,
Thank you.
What have you done? I'm in the project every day, bro. What you doing for the poor people, man? Get out of here, man. Yo, this event is, I'm telling you, she was Green Party. I like Green Party. I've been Green Party over 20 years. There's some real ones out here today. If you're here to support fighting the bullshit, I'm with you. And in some weird ways, I'm with you. But they're trying to make me a victim. They're trying to cut me out. I tell you that. That's a mistake. That's a big time mistake. You don't cut me out, shit. I got time in this game, baby.
Kevin said he could pick the lap.
I'll be here for another 20
New York, New York, it's a wonderful town.
Yeah,
Well, I'm hoping more people show up. So,
Elizabeth said KRTV Media is live with your update.
That's me. I'm KRTD Media.
That's all.
They
You can see the police are here across the street. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4 cars.
Hey, Shane,
Yeah.
can you change the view so most of the screen shows the protest?
Yes. Hold on 1 second. Let me do that.
Small window? That would work better.
Is this better?
No, it's not better. I'm looking for the view where I'm small.
Let me try to do that.
you wanna start going across the street?
Sure.
Right. I think that's the right view. Okay, because the commentator should be small in the screen.
So,
Mhm.
we're gonna sell.
Okay,
So
that's the right view.
Enforcement here ready?
Yeah, Joe, there are about 4 police cars right here, right now.
Right, I see. I see.
And the Pfizer building has been barricaded, as you can see.
The Pfizer building is barricaded, huh?
Are you surprised?
Me? I guess, well, you let them know you were coming, right?
Right, we did. We did let you know who was coming.
Who was the guy who was talking to you before?
Oh, undercover cop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And what did he say to you?
He basically asked me if we needed anything.
Awesome.
I just told him I appreciate it. Show what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm expecting a lot more people. I'm expecting a lot more people to show up, but I'm expecting people to show up late.
Obviously.
Way too early in the morning.
Has Jasana gotten here yet?
No. Our new speaker for the day are. Okay, cool. So we got a few more speakers to show up.
How about Edwin?
Well, Edwin's on his way, but we got a few more speakers showing up.
Awesome. What about is Scott here?
Scott is here. He is in New York. He got lost.
Oh, well, so did I.
He lives upstate, but he's been here before us.
Hi
It's just
there,
that he didn't
Holly.
know
Hi,
that.
Michelle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How
And
are
Lisa
you,
was-
Michelle de Villiers? Or maybe I should say de Villiers. And hello, Holly. And Vegan Succubus. And Kay, thank you all for coming.
See, there are also police within the Pfizer building.
Just break through the barricades.
We'll see what happens.
How's the weather in New York today, guys? Hello, Shane. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yo, why am I out here doing all this 20 years in the game? Yeah? Yo, you know what?
Next time we'll do something where we do so early that people.
So Silver Thoreau, 25, jump over from fault lines.
Got 8 people here. I mean, it's a morning stream, so 8 people is pretty good for a morning.
That is pretty slow.
I have to leave soon to take kids to school, but I'll be back, Silver Thoreau says. And Vegan Succubus says, hi, Holly Horn, always lovely seeing you.
Don't matter if I had a lot of people in the back who was the shooting hostage, right? For people's body shots.
And Kay says, afraid of the die-in, laugh out loud.
Who's that? Who's Joe said?
He's reading the comments. Some people are talking about the diet.
Yeah. Holly Horn says, hi, Silver Thoreau.
Oh, Holly Horn is on it. Didn't you meet her at the other protest? She's the older woman?
I don't know if I met her. I know I've spoken to her in the DMs though.
I think, are you sure she was the, I think she was the older lady who showed up at the protest.
Was it really?
Yeah, that was Holly Horn.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. Okay.
Not
Yeah.
police, they barricaded the front of the building.
She told me later.
There is a second entrance, by the way, I believe. I don't know exactly where it is. And Lisa's here. Hello, Lisa. Lisa says, hi, Joe. Hello, friends.
Lisa, Joe, is Lisa in the comment section?
Yeah, she's in the comments section. I sent her a link, but perhaps she's not in a position to use it.
Okay. Lisa's watching. She's not commentating, but she's watching.
Yeah, she's watching. She's not co-hosting. Holly Horn says, same Vegan Succubus. Holly Horn says, hi, Lisa Theobald.
They know that when I say
So far we have 10.
Okay.
burn it down. Check it out. I'm
Well, 11.
Scott did have 11.
Yeah.
All right, Scott did.
Yeah, most probably Josana is recovering from the General Strike Summit. She was doing a lot of work there.
Did you speak at the General Strike Summit?
Yeah.
Awesome. I got to catch up on some of those. I had meetings all day those days. The worst day for me.
Oh, yeah, Sharif was all over the General Strike Summit.
Yeah, he was talking.
He must have been in 3 different panels.
What about the General Strike Summit?
I said I saw you all over the General Strike Summit. You must have been in 3 different panels.
He said that you were all over the General Strike Summit.
I love that. Mr. Berets. I love
Teresa says, hi, Shane. Hi, Sharif. I'm not home yet.
Right.
You're right. I work. Yeah. I work. Fuck the house. Yo, I'm gonna keep going. See, this guy told me what you did. He fucking got.
Stephen Cat says,
I'm putting down.
wishing I was
down. I'm by myself out here.
I got bagels. I look funny.
I mean, come on now. Come on now. You still doing the workout. Don't let the fuck cut me out. Don't let the fuck cut me out, man.
You gotta stop punching
I can be down with punching down.
Oh, you're in it.
Down.
Hey, you want to say hi to the live audience?
sure, go ahead. Hi there.
We just look at that table. Look at that table.
This is the first time I've been done dirty. No, this is the dirty business.
They just came out here. I didn't realize that. It was like
Hey, said, how many people are supposed to show up for this?
No, we
No, we never
That's
know.
a question for Joe. That's a question for Sharif. Someone said, how many people are supposed to show up to this?
50, 60.
Okay.
Right now we have 11.
All right.
So not bad.
I don't know.
So, Joe, did you get that? 50 to 60 people are supposed to show up, and right now there's 11.
Yeah, I think 11 is a pretty good start because we only just officially started.
Exactly.
It's only 1 minute after starting time. And Vegan Succubus says, Ricardo. Ricky Rance.
15 people, Joe. 15 people are here now.
Great. And where is Ricky Rance? Is Ricky there?
Ricky Rance, I think he's across the street. He's over there. Pfizer has 2 addresses, it seems. They have this one, and then they got this one.
Ah. So they bracket both sides of the street.
Awesome. All right. Who's speaking? Is Renee coming?
No. So it's going to be you, Edwin, Terrence.
Also Josana, right?
Yeah, Jasana.
Can we raise the camera a little? Michelle points out correctly. We are seeing feet and street. Well, that's certainly better, but we're still seeing feet now.
Is this better, Joe?
Yeah, that's better.
Cool. Oh, Sharif.
Okay, we're
When
seeing.
Scott gets here, tell him I want to get a quick interview with him. I'm asked to do that by.
Yeah, that'd be good to get an interview and also a photo.
Cool. And I want to get one with Ricky, too.
I'm not mad at that. That's not me. But she's fucking done this shit. She's on the streets. I got her back. And tell her I've been busy for a lot of other shit, but tell her I'll let it. I got her back. So people that show up, I got their back. People that turn their back get fucking shitted on. People that show up, I got their back though.
You here for the protest?
Yeah.
You want to say hi to live audience?
hello, live
DGL7, baby. Diane's there. You hear representing. She's still on these streets. A lot of motherfuckers getting suppressed. She's one of them. Robert Plant, what you did at that event was raw, bro.
You here for the protest?
So Diane's here, out here doing stuff.
Oh.
Yes.
No, so you're here to observe.
Yes. Oh. What's up, man? Yo, check it out. GGL7 out here telling you that this movement will not exclude people like myself, even though they try it. Hell no. I'm going to show up, and I'm going to make my place.
Tempting to
run away. I'm in front of Pfizer. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Come back, man. Yo, we in front of Pfizer. Where you at? Why you over there eating donuts? Stop slacking, bro. Yo, some real ones out here You know what I mean? Meanwhile, motherfuckers organized politics and donuts. Yo, Pfizer's whack. We're here to tell you right now. You know what I mean? Yo, check it out. Medicare for all. I got this thing. No fuck the vaccine mandate. Not telling us what the fuck to do. And Jimmy Dory can suppress me all you want. And right after leftists try to gang up with them and throw me in the trash. I ain't going nowhere. I'm here. I'm in New York and I ain't going nowhere. You ain't get rid of me. I am these streets. Yo, check it out. So we in front of Pfizer.
We got food over there. We're just waiting for Edwin, who's the MC.
Biggest air. Yo, look at that. That guy should be a star right there. Check it out. I'll tell you, Medicare for all. You understand that a lot of times but they say it's worse not to weaponize against them. At the end, we need accountability. We need agency and accountability. And the fact of the matter is that will these organizers hold everybody accountable? I'm not sure. In fact, the evidence has shown no, but I will. I got nothing to lose, baby. Nothing to lose. Yeah. Don't get to the apartment. Don't get no. That's what I'm going up anyway. Yeah. Yo, Bill,
right. You never have it earlier. Right.
I'll do what I got.
I'm sure you still have.
So we're going to check it out. Yo, Pfizer, whoa!
Okay, we're seeing traffic. We're seeing a booth.
That's why. Yeah. But guess what? There's some organized crew that might exclude a person like me that's been in the game for a long time. First they should force vote, by the way, which nobody want to talk about. Why is that? Why is that? Because other people are trying to establish control in this game. Get the fuck out of here. You better be accountable to the streets. You better let us have some agency and have a voice and shit. Cut us out. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Yo, I've been here for 20 years. I'm stay out here. Check it out. Fight against the bullshit.
So, how's working? Is we're gonna do action here. We got food over there.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah. Let's go with it. Let's go up. Once you get up.
Okay, says angry young man. He was so angry we couldn't hear what he was angry about.
We got a few parties. What should I write on the sidewalk?
How about fuck Pfizer?
Definitely fuck Pfizer and something to do with Medicare for all. Really. Even though fuck Pfizer, it almost feels more important.
How about fuck Pfizer? The healthcare system is killing people.
What's the thought for what? For awkward? For white and people rap for the name of fighting white supremacy? That's why you guys got rid of me and Wayne and Charlie? That's real weird, bro. That's real weird. That's real weird. Yo, why would you get rid of someone like me? What have I done except for fight for this shit? That's all I do. Black guy, that's what activist. There's no such thing as Asian American activist. For goddamn shit out there. Why is everybody look at this shit? There's a difference, yeah? Some people matter, some people don't. God, I'm telling you. Go check it out. Some people matter, some people don't. It don't matter. You know what I mean? I'm here to say
Vegan Succubus says, good morning and happy Occupy Pfizer Action Day. Thank you, KRTD Media, for being on the ground and live
I
streaming.
was shooting about 10,000 seconds. Why? Because I'm asking the wrong questions about Jimmy Gore. Fred Hampton left this. I'm asking the wrong questions about Jimmy Gore, asking about Lee Camp. Lee Camp didn't go to one fucking meeting for Medicare for All March. Got pushed to talk in D.C. while I was dragged off and handcuffed for what? I'm gonna ask these guys what I did for Medicare for All March. Yeah? Ask. I did not. I went to a bunch of meetings and I emailed hundreds of organizations. Yeah? I also confronted Andrew Yang about this group's inability to support Medicare for All. I did a lot of shit out here. Yeah? But my work ain't worth nothing.
Yeah, let me get a shot of this.
Okay.
So, for those of you who can't read this, this says "fuck Pfizer," and it's been written with chalk in front of the Pfizer building.
Keep throwing me in the trash. That's like throwing Popeye spinach, stupid. I'm an activist. They do nothing but throw us in the trash. Yo, what's up? Yeah.
Here, Shane, we're seeing sidewalk and feet again. So for those of you who don't know, the red beret is for Medicare for All.
Someone do a coffee run for us and tip before all people are asking.
Why did you back
You
Hey,
just call me Stephen. Shane. I'm the president of KRTD Media.
Sorry.
That's
So
it.
we have a bunch of different some like this for a long time. But
yes, there are unfortunate sound issues.
That's what comes with streaming in Manhattan. I'm so sorry.
Yes, I know. Actually, our sound is pretty good, isn't it? And Michelle says, I am crocheting one now, Joe. Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah.
Hey, Shane, can you move the microphone closer and maybe find out what Sharif is saying?
Yeah.
right? So that's kind of why. Well, the argument is that big money isn't always on anything political, right? So it is money, the money that I actually fight for that's going to be is also enough. So it's more subtle than actually the government saying, we're going to pay for everyone. We want that to happen. I wish I would have paid.
Yeah.
Not like
Right, exactly. And we said we're actually going to why not with that?
I'm knitting a real progressive yellow vest.
Check it out. It's so bad card right here.
Hi, Elizabeth from M4M4All.
So there's a man guy named Edwin. Edwin is coming here.
Hey, Shane, I cannot hear you.
Sorry. As soon as the MC gets here, Edwin, then we're going to start speaking.
okay. And you're one of the speakers, right?
Yes, I'm Shane Coughlin, president of KRTD Media.
Cool. Can you tell me a little bit about KRTD Media?
Sure. So KRTD Media is an independent media and news organization, and we're a network. We have about 10 shows right now. We've just started
TV shows, radio shows?
Podcasts for the most part. On YouTube, we stream to YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and well, mostly YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. I might be missing one. Sorry.
Are you live streaming right now?
Yes, I'm live streaming right now.
Hi. Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. And
Thank
can you tell me your name again?
My name is Shane.
Jane. Okay.
What's your name?
Yeah, I'm a journalist. I'm a Columbia journalist. My name's Lucy.
Awesome. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So where did she say she was from, Shane?
So that's Lucy from Columbia Journalism School. She's a journalist.
Ah, Columbia Journalism School. So a decent place. Allie says, of course they barricaded it. And Laura says, that was sarcasm. I'm a fight on all fronts kind of gal. Yeah. Oh, Quaker Socialist is here too. Hey, Quaker Socialist. Says, thank you. Holly says, hi, Quaker Socialist. Quaker Socialist says, Holly Horn, good morning. Well, it kind of looks like some folks from the General Strike Summit wanted some more this morning, so they came back to the Pfizer protest.
Edwin?
Yes, on the
Hey,
way.
you want to say hi to the KRTD audience?
Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you all. Thanks for tuning in to our Occupy Pfizer event.
Yeah, I know.
We're about to get started in about 10 minutes.
Awesome.
Okay, so you'll be speaking.
Oh, hey, Joe.
If you believe in America, even though there's been a freaking opioid epidemic, right? Yeah, that killed a whole bunch of people. You know more bodies dead off the heroin.
Make sure to catch Knit the Revolution
Yeah, I mean,
live
what do
on
these people
ARTV today after the protest at 5 p.m.
Pfizer.
So, Joe, Edwin has arrived, and because Edwin has arrived, he's the MC, and we're going to get started very soon.
Going on? Yeah.
Thank you, Shane. Thank you. And Michelle says, ask that girl from Columbia for contact info. I have an idea that it involves university art students. Shane,
What do you think?
Hey, me, come out here.
Hey, Shane, did you hear that?
Do what?
Ask that girl from Columbia for contact info.
What's going on?
Okay.
If you want to know the truth,
Hey, can I get some contact info for you? Hold on one second.
I'm taking it no more. This is the first generation to make less than the
And remember, that guy, former M4M4All volunteer. I think that guy's name is Ed Lee. Or so I'm informed anyway. Things have gone silent. I have to admit that's a bit of a relief at this point. Hey, Laura, you're up real early.
This is Ricky Rance right here. Let me hear a hand for fucking Ricky Rance. Make some fucking noise. Yo, where the fuck is Sharif at? Sharif, you whack ass. Yeah, that's how I feel. Whack too, Ricky, but that's sometimes I'm whack too. But fuck it. We all here in solidarity saying fuck Pfizer, right, Rick? Sharif? Make some noise for Sharif. Make some fucking noise.
And Abhishek.
Yo, and every day she's down here fighting the good fight, fuck yeah. Okay? And by the way, much love out to my brothers at CPI. Hell yeah! Let me hear some fucking. Wait, I said CPI's in the fucking building. Make some fucking noise! Yo, Pfizer's full of shit. We all know this. This is the first generation to have a shorter lifespan than people than the generation before them in American history. Good job, assholes. Good job.
Quaker
Yo, I want my people from CPL to stay in the moment. You know what I mean? Thanks for passing the mic off to me, but
thank you to
they're here in solidarity. You want to say something? Yeah? Yo, CPI is going to get on the mic. One up, baby. Come on.
Sharif, I love you.
Odds are a lot of you guys don't know who I am. I'm Pete Mansfield. I'm from a real small farming town, Illinois. Yeah, I moved out here about 5 months ago to work for the Center for Political Innovation, which is who I'm here on behalf of. And I don't have a whole lot to say. My main point of this entire presentation is going to be fuck Pfizer.
Hell yeah! Fuck Pfizer!
Yes.
Fuck Pfizer!
Fuck the Democrats who are allowing this shit to go on. Fuck the Republicans who are allowing this shit to go on. Fuck Pfizer, that's all I gotta say.
Goddamn right! You're goddamn right! Tell them! Let them know! This is bullshit!
Let me tell you, the working people of America are sick of getting screwed over by big pharma and the pharmaceutical companies and the hospitals and all the medical industry that screws the American people over every single day. Why is it that every single industrialized country in the world has one form of a Medicare for all system or a national health care system, but here in the United States, we have big pharma, we have big insurance companies screwing over people every day? It's because capitalism is in decay, and what it is doing is hurting the working people of this country. We need to stand up together. We need to organize our workplaces and our communities to stand against the oppressors and Pfizer and all the other big pharma industry and the big insurance companies, and fight against the oil companies as well as the banking institutions. Because to get right down to it, all these whether it's the banking institutions, whether it's the oil institutions, or it's the medical institutions, they are all working against the working people in this country.
Yes.
It is up to us, America. It's up to us, New York. It's up to us, Manhattan, to fight against our oppressors. It's time for us to organize a general strike. It's up for us to start organizing our workplaces and communities, to start actually having politicians that represent us. We are a coalition here. We have people from all over the political spectrum fighting against Big Pharma and Pfizer here. Whether it's the Green Party, or whether it's PC USA, or it is the Center for Political Innovation, or it's Jimmy Dore Progressives, we are all out here fighting for the same cause. So the working people need to get into this coalition so we can start fighting our oppressors.
Coalition, fuck yeah.
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah. Coalition, they can't stop us if we all get together. And I'm telling you, they can try to silence. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Maybe you can grab the mic. I don't know what's going on there, but this is too fucking real. This is the streets, baby. Fuck the bullshit. You know what I mean? They can't stop me. I don't give a fuck who you put on that mic. Fuck guys. No one stops me.
A lot of people are asking, why are we protesting outside of Pfizer and not outside the politicians' offices? That's because they're the ones who buy out the politicians. The politicians, Democrat and Republican, are all bought and paid for by Wall Street, by Big Pharma, by the private health insurance industry. Healthcare needs to be a human right. They're giving us the free shots, they're giving us the free testing, but they're not giving us treatment or cures for other diseases. What about cancer? What about HIV/AIDS? They have the money and resources to do it, but they want a profit at the top. There's a bunch of administrative middlemen and women between us and our doctors. We got to get rid of them. We got to get rid of the CEOs of large corporations like Pfizer, who went out and made a public statement the other day that people who spread COVID misinformation need to be jailed. No, the CEO of Pfizer needs to be criminally prosecuted for all the crimes against humanity that he has committed. And Scott Gottlieb, who's on the board of directors of Pfizer, used to be the head of the FDA, because there's a big revolving door between our federal government and these large corporations. The private sector and the public sector are now two sides of the same coin, and it's all for greed. It's not about our health. If it was about our health, they give us Medicare for all. They give us single payer. They give us zero copays and zero deductibles. But instead, they want to charge us till we die. They're not interested in investing in cures. They want a sick care system so they can treat us forever. They don't want us to be healthy, safe, and secure, because when the working class is healthy, we have more power to unite and rise up against the oligarchs. If we don't have health care, we stand divided. If we don't have health care, we can't negotiate as unions and fight for higher wages and safer working conditions because we're too damn busy fighting for the health care. 90 million Americans are either uninsured or underinsured. They are complicit in this. They are responsible for the deaths of many. Yes, thank you for giving us whatever medicine that you have given us over the years, but it's your job to do that. We shouldn't be praising you to make us medicine. It should be guaranteed free at the point of service, which you're not doing because of evil and because of greed and because of contempt and hatred for the working class. They want us divided so that we're angry at each other. That's why they buy out the media. If you look onto CNN or public broadcasting, it all says, brought to you by Pfizer, sponsored by Pfizer. Why is that? Because they who control the source of information control all the power. And they're the ones who are deluding us. They're the ones who are spreading the misinformation so that we get angry at each other, so that it's a war between pro-vax and anti-vax. That's not what it's about. That's a distraction. The war is between us versus a handful of wealthy elite at the top of our society, a handful of oligarchs. This isn't left versus right. This is a broad coalition. This is what happens when we come together across ideologies. We're not the crazy ones. The crazy ones are the ones who are making sure that thousands of people are dying every year because of a lack of health insurance. That's crazy to me. So Pfizer, if you're listening to us, you better support healthcare as a human right. You better make a public statement that you support healthcare as a human right. And if you don't, we know you're full of shit. We know you're full of shit because, again, you're the ones who are raking in billions of dollars in profit during a pandemic, billions of dollars going to the very top. This is why wealth and income inequality is at an all-time high, because corporations like Pfizer are the ones screwing us over. So with that, thank you all for coming out here. Really appreciate the fact that there's actually like a real good amount of people out here for this protest. This is what's going to scare them. Again, we can protest politicians all day. Maybe they'll move incrementally. Maybe they won't. But we know if we take it directly to the source of the corruption, that our voices will be heard.
Okay, that, friends, was Edwin De Jesus.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Sharif Snuggs, co-founder for the March for the Medicare for All. I want to talk about our demands. You can go on our website at www.m4M4All spelled out .org. Number one, we demand the United States government to pass and improve and expand it Medicare for All immediately. A single-payer healthcare system that is free at the point of service to all Americans, regardless of sex, age, creed, race, religion, gender identity, citizenship, disability, geographic location, income, and employment status. Number two, recognize healthcare as a human right for all people, regardless of sex, age, creed, race, religion, gender identity, citizenship, disability, geographic location, income, and employment status. Number three, prioritize healthcare first in the federal budget, which includes but not limited to eliminating medical debt immediately, funding the single-payer healthcare system, funding wellness centers, nutrition centers, and preventive care, improving communities with at least amount of hospitals and clinics, that means the rural areas, improving and employing more healthcare professionals nationwide, and enrolling future doctors and nurses in schools nationwide. This is what we want our Medicare for All system to look like. Thank you.
And that was Sheriff Snuggs.
1 in 3 coronavirus deaths could have been prevented if we had Medicare for All. Healthcare is not a commodity.
Healthcare isn't a commodity. Healthcare is a human right.
Stop the noise, everyone.
All right.
And here comes Scott.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out here.
Hooray.
Tree, can I have that sign, brother? Many want to wonder why we're protesting Pfizer. Pfizer has made an awesome vaccine that many of us don't deny work. It works. And they're benefiting more than any other corporation during a pandemic when we're dying faster. The quicker we die, the more money they're making. Now, they're benefiting from a free vaccine for all system. A system much like the Medicare for All system that we're advocating for. A healthcare system that provides treatment for our needs at the time of service, regardless of our ability to pay for it. Now, their vaccine should work. Their vaccine has been based on science. It has been funded by the NIH and by public money, as cited by Ro Khanna. Out of 210 drugs between 2010 and 2016, every single one of them that was approved by the FDA was funded by the NIH or public money. Fidelis, you tell us that the reason the Americans have to pay so much more for our cost of medicines is for funding and research, for research and development. Public money. Research and development from public money. Now, I can tell you about Joshua, who was found dead because he was rationing his insulin which costs $250 per vial here in America. $25 just 3 hours north here. Because they have a single-payer universal healthcare system where they get to negotiate prices with you. But here in America, we have a free market system where our sick and dying are a business opportunity to you. My son's medication was risperidone. It cost $250 out of pocket and $35 in Canada. Pfizer, I know you don't make risperidone. That's Jensen's Pharmaceutical, owned by Johnson & Johnson. But you do deny a lot of people insulin because they can't afford it. You see, Danny was 29 years old, and he came home to live with me for a few months because he was having domestic problems. A few weeks after he comes home, he says, "Pops, I went to get my medicine refilled today and found out my insurance had been canceled." His insurance was on the Managed Medicaid program, part of the ACA. Pfizer supports the ACA, right?
Sure do.
The medication, as I said, was risperidone. Cost $250 out of pocket.
Gee.
That extra pay is not for research and development. That extra money is for CEO pays, for board members, and for profits all across the board, including my lobbyists and campaign donations.
Goddamn right.
That's what that extra money is for. That's why instead of $35, my son's medication was $250. Well, I told Danny, not a big deal. We'll try to find a way to come up with it. In the meantime, you should call Fidelis and find out what happened. Danny didn't call right away. He called like April 1st or April 2nd, where he found out he missed a $20 payment to his Medicaid program. Medicaid, Pfizer. Medicaid. Missed $20. They told him his plan, his contract, would be reinstated on May 1st. By the way, risperidone is an atypical antipsychotic with a known risk of suicide upon withdrawals. On April 9th, I saw his Facebook post 32 seconds after he posted it. It showed the cab of his truck overlooking a body of water. He says to us, "I'm sorry for hurting those who care. This is selfish, I'm sure, but I can't get above this pain. I decided to take death by drowning. I superglued my seatbelt shut. Double checked. I can't loosen it. I'm sorry for hurting those who care. Daniel and Hazel, his children, I'm so fucking sorry." And he drove his truck into the fucking Mohawk River after supergluing his seatbelt shut because he didn't pay his corporate insurance $20. This is a system Pfizer benefits off of. This is how they make their profits. This is how they pay their campaign donations to deny us health care, to provide us profits or contracts that deny health care. And so that their profits can skyrocket through the roof for Americans, and we can all die for their fucking money. We ain't taking it. By the way, the beret I'm wearing is a red beret. I'm starting a new chapter of the New York Red Berets. We fight in solidarity with all groups. I don't care if you hate Jimmy Dore. I don't care if you hate the Red Berets. I don't care who you hate. We fight together because they sure as hell are. They don't care about us. They care about our money.
Goddamn right.
And if you don't have their money, they don't care if you fucking live or die. Danny's proof of it. Follow me, New York Red Berets, NY Red Berets on Twitter. When I say what do we want, we say Medicare for all. What do we want?
Medicare for all.
What do we want?
Medicare for all.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Medicare for all.
When do we want it?
Now.
Dana Beal?
I wondered. Any
Anyway, you guys know me. I'm the medical marijuana guy. Medical marijuana is a very interesting case because it's a plant. Back at the beginning of the AIDS crisis, when they had nothing that worked, it turned out that eating a brownie would suppress inflammation in your gut from HIV, and you could live a lot longer. You wouldn't waste away. But marijuana is a plant, and you really can't monopolize it. So we had to fight just to get an actual clinical investigation from 1981 to 2011, 30 years, to prove in an animal model that this was working. Now, you got to understand, all the patients are coming to them and saying, this is working, right? They passed an initiative in California by 56% of the vote in 1996. And this took so long that they actually legalized pot before they can get it through the pharmaceutical system. Now, the gentleman was talking about risperidol. Risperidol is a really sucky drug. It's horrible. Right now, we have a bill in the New York State Assembly, A7928. It's a look at psychedelic drugs. I have a little flyer I'll go around and give you. But we have one psychedelic drug that gets people off of heroin overnight. It is also the only thing that stops crystal meth. It's called ibogaine. It's from the African rainforest. We are being told that before we can actually give that to people, it has to finish a phase 3 trial. Meanwhile, people are advocating for safe injection sites, and nobody's saying that you have to have a clinical trial of coke, dope, or speed before they give you stuff at the safe injection site. But the people at the safe injection site are connected to the Drug Policy Alliance, which has a priority of legalizing drugs. They're just not that interested in psychedelic cures. So they treat the psychedelic drugs, which would be an alternative to risperidol, as like this strange unknown creature that we're not ready for. Because do you think they really want, look, I went to the National Institute of Drug Abuse. We had a program like you're talking about. They studied ibogaine for 5 years, and then they discontinued it. It turned out that they took all the activists off the panel because they were pro-medical marijuana people and they weren't allowed to be on the panel. And on the panel, they put a group called Rickett Benckiser. Rickett Benckiser makes Suboxone. Suboxone is a highly addictive drug that you cannot quit without incredible discomfort that goes on for months. When they approved, you guys all know the story about them approving OxyContin, right? Right? They approved OxyContin. There were 2 guys. One was Curtis Wright from the FDA. He went on to get a job working for the Sacklers, $500,000 a year. At the same time, knowing they were going to have a big problem, they approved Suboxone for Rickett Benckiser, so that after all those people got addicted, they'd have to go on another addictive drug that they would have to take for the rest of their life. And what do they say is good for people with a meth problem? We put them on risperidol, haloperidol, and other drugs. You've seen that great stuff on television, stops tardive dyskinesia, right? Oh, I can take my antipsychotic drug now because I have something that will suppress the symptoms that it gave me. They do not want fucking improvements in the system if they can't own them. Do you understand? So we have a little thing we're trying to get past, and I'm here today because, you know, I got to go around to every group under the sun and tell them there's a cure for heroin, but like the cure for cancer that they supposedly are withholding, but when you get into opiates, which is a real money maker for the system, you can't do anything to challenge the opiate monopoly. So what I'm trying to do, we have a guy up the street at 47th Street and 5th Avenue. His name is Peter Buffett. He's Warren Buffett's son. He's about to replace Warren Buffett on the board of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation because Warren Buffett is 90 years old. And Peter Buffett is only 60 years old. These guys pay for all global harm reduction. And what does global harm reduction consist of? Needle exchange and Suboxone and methadone. So the reason we never get out of the opiate crisis is that the cure for the opiate crisis is another opiate. What do you expect to have happen? Every single person who's on Suboxone, if the World Trade Center, if they crash the planes into the World Trade Center or the equivalent and they shut down New York so you can't go from one block to the next, if I was here, you could not go from one block to the next. Fucking Giuliani had it set up so that there was police barricades everywhere. No one could get to their methadone clinic. They went into withdrawal. If you go into withdrawal because they take away your government-sponsored opiate, you're going to go out into the street and find some opiates. The chances are those opiates will be full of fentanyl and you will die. So we need something different, and I would like to invite you in the future to go up and demonstrate outside of Peter Buffett's office at 47th and 5th Avenue because he has refused to meet with us. I'm from the ACT UP meth group. We got the first program to treat methamphetamine in the country. But you know what we have to do? They have some Wellbutrin. They have some Vivance. It's not effective, right? And they have to let people keep doing fucking methamphetamine. I want to show you something here. Oh, I didn't bring it. Never mind. The point I'm trying to make is we came out with a demand. Tax marijuana. If you're going to have to tax it, we know they're not going to legalize it unless they pay for taxing. The medical marijuana people would happily pay taxes to be able to be legal. Do you understand? To not have to worry about the fact that it's still federally illegal. So, like, I want to, propose a little, alliance between put some kind blood behind Medicare for all. Yeah. New drugs that treat mental problems and addiction problems have been withheld since Richard Nixon in 1971 when they passed the Controlled Substances Act. and we have not been able to use drugs that are very promising because it's a Schedule I drug. Anyway, I'm going to give this back.
Thank you, Dana.
Hello, everyone again. Sherry Snugs from March for Medicare for All. I want to bring up our other co-founder, Dan Gallagher.
Thank you, Sharif, and thanks everyone for coming out today. So in order to keep this movement going, we need to fundraise. So today we have the table across the street. We have bumper stickers. We have Medicare for All buttons. We actually, I personally baked Diane red velvet cupcakes, and they represent the lives that are lost every year for lack of access to healthcare. So you can either, if you have cash on you, we're just asking for a $5 donation, or you can get online on our website, March for Medicare for All, M4M4All.org. And there's a donate button. If you can make a $5 donation, that would really help us out to continue these actions in the new year. We're hoping to have even more marches. We had 56 marches last July all across the country, and we hope to even double that next year and double attendance. So donations, you know, this is where we just, we're grassroots. So we rely on donations. So every dollar helps us. So if you want to come across the table today and help us out, we greatly appreciate it. And again, thank you all for being here.
Hello, everybody. Let's make loud and clear, right in the heart of the free market, with concrete symbols. What do we want? Medicare for all. When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Medicare for all.
When do we want it? Now. One thing is very clear. Listening to the father of Danny Strong, there should be no confusion in the minds of the people who are ruling the streets. An American boy, 29 years old, an American father had to bury him. That's the worst thing a father can imagine doing because of lack of insulin. In this free market system, free market healthcare has failed. Danny Strong. There is no reason insulin was discovered gazillions of years ago. For an American boy to be buried by his father for lack of insulin is a clear evidence that the free healthcare system in these United States does not work for all of us. It works for the richest, like Mark Zuckerberg, whose assets go up like $1 billion a day from the posts that you put on his Facebook. You didn't get a penny to do that work, by the way. And it works for the poorest of the poor because you can't get any blood out of turtles. The free market doesn't even bother asking for money for the poorest. It's the middle class that you need to appeal. The health insecurity is biggest in the middle working class Americans. I'm a physician, by the way. My name is Dr. Gupta. I'm the real Dr. Gupta, not that fake expert Sanjay Gupta. And I practiced for 50 plus years. And there is enough money in the system that Medicare all can be possible. And there are some people say that Medicare for all will make it a socialist thing. Yes, bring it on. U.S. Post Office is socialist. U.S. public education system is socialist if Medicare for all is socialist. And we know U.S. Post Office is not a socialist system. We know U.S. public health education is not a socialist system. This is no different than that. The health insecurity must end now. Yes.
wanted to ask you, you being a doctor, how do you feel is the best path forward? Like, what would you want to see? How do you want to see basically the system to change? Like, what you you work in this profession for so many years. Like, how do you think how the relationship between the community being engaged with a doctor, the direct payment wise, sell it for us. Like, how does that work for you?
Well, it's a good question that you ask. I have practiced medicine for 50 plus years in these United States, so I'm fully familiar with it. And I'm a general internist, meaning that I see people I don't treat people in a specialized way. But anyway, the best example of how the doctors are feeling in the system, if that's what you're trying to ask me, is at a very rapid rate. Right now, the doctors are turning their practices in what's called concierge medicine. I think if I'm saying it right in my pronunciation, which is a system where they stop seeing patients just for fee-for-service. They still do the fee-for-service, but in order for them to see you now, you have to sign up and pay them on an average $200 per month. That's what? Almost $2,500, $2,600 per patient. That's the only way they will see you now, on top of whatever they're going to charge for the fee, whether it's private insurance pays or Medicare pays. And it's spreading rapidly. You just go around and you can't find primary care physicians. The private healthcare system has failed. We must look for another alternative, and it's staring right in our face. The system already exists. Medicare. Let's just make it Medicare for all. There is enough money in the system to finance this thing. Look at the private medical health insurance companies, Humana, this, that, Aetna. You think they're in there doing the Medicare work for charity? No, they're not. And same thing with the Medicaid, also has gone private. You think those Fidelis and WellCare and all those companies are doing for charity? No, they're all skimming money out of the system. Let's change it. Let's change it now. Now, there is enough money in there.
I'd like to bring Edwin back up to the floor.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Terrence Cudney. I live in Gloucester, Massachusetts on the North Shore, and I'm running for state senate there against Bruce Tarr. I'm running in no small part because I believe that the right to life, as enshrined in our Declaration of Independence and in the UN Declaration of Human Rights, should also mean the right to live. And if you've been following along with us today, well, and hopefully we'll have an opportunity to hear more moving stories about the brokenness of the healthcare system in this country. So I thought I'd just add my voice to the chorus and tell you a little bit of my healthcare story, which absolutely helped motivate me to run for office with single-payer healthcare in my platform. So with that, here's my healthcare instance number one. I was very active in high school. I was in theater, choir, cross country, and track and field. In the summer days leading up to senior year, I remember a 5 to 6 mile training run where I was finally catching up with the varsity team after 3 years of junior varsity. After the run, I got in my small sedan to head home, adrenaline racing, feeling alive. I began my drive home at the steady speed of limit of 35 miles per hour on a backcountry road filled with twists and turns. And as I came around just such a turn, I see a large automobile, probably an SUV, speeding towards me in my lane. I swung my wheel desperately to the right towards the curb, and the other car steered inexplicably to its left, plowing directly into my car. I'd later learned that the other driver was a runner from Japan who had just left a plane in a rural regional airport to train in the U.S. and hadn't decisively determined which side of the road was the right one to drive on. until he saw my car and decided the left side was definitely the proper side of the road to use. My seatbelt in my car saved my life. The combined speed between the two cars in excess of 60 miles per hour had crumpled the driver's side of my front bumper, fender, and hood about 3/4 of the way to where I was sitting, but my steering wheel, my pedals, and dashboard were intact. At first I felt nothing. Then as I stretched to check myself, a searing pain coursed across the back of my neck and down my spine. I called my mom and told her not to worry, and as luck would have it, a fire station 1 minute away heard the accident and sent an ambulance. As it turned out, I had no operable damage, just permanent soft tissue damage in my back. At one point, I was told they could do exploratory back surgery to attempt to repair it, but it would be extremely expensive, potentially very risky, and there was no guarantee the surgery would improve my pain. I wore a neck brace for the first month or so of my senior year, and many of my friends and family will tell you that I looked like I was operating in a fog for much of that month. In the midst of that fog, I signed a decent-sized settlement, but I came to find that it wouldn't be close to enough. Since then, I've tried literally 20 different types of physical therapy, chiropractic, occupational therapy, acupuncture, etc., but I still live with chronic pain 15 years later. Single-payer healthcare would mean I wouldn't need to worry about whether I could afford the cost of that ambulance ride or the cost of getting better for that matter. The focus would just be on the work to get better. Here's my healthcare instance number 2. I started taking seasonal allergy medication in my early teenage years for debilitating hay fever and itchy eyes. By the time I finished high school, I was taking 3 different intense allergy medications, 2 of which required prescriptions. Several years passed where I believed I'd be on these medicines forever. But after college, in the midst of an intense tech startup job, and in conjunction with recovering a past memory from my youth of, and let this be your first content warning, in conjunction with recovering a past memory of my youth of chronic sexual assault by one person, I started to notice increasing levels of stomach pain and acid reflux. My new doctor diagnosed eosinophilic esophagitis and reactive gastropathy, 2 fancy ways of saying that my stomach lining and esophagus had been damaged, likely by a combination of internalized stress from my work and facing my previous assaults, as well as prolonged use of allergy meds containing decongestants with pseudoephedrine. I was later told that, though I'd been a patient to several doctors over the years, the fact that I'd been prescribed and re-prescribed these drugs for years and was never told about the risk it could pose to my long-term health could be grounds for a medical malpractice lawsuit. As someone who, until very recently, worked in a restaurant and who's not taking in any income during my run for state senate, I'm hesitant to this day to visit a doctor for fear that I won't be able to afford the diagnostics or treatment for ongoing abdominal pain. And I can tell you stories upon stories of fellow servers and the tricks we use to avoid a trip to the doctor we know we can't afford, preferring athletic tape, super glue, and a shift cover or 2 to fiscal insolvency and possibly bankruptcy or worse. And that leaves healthcare instance number 3. As I've mentioned, and let this be your final content warning, I recovered the memories of several instances of sexual assault by one person during my younger years. My memories were triggered in adulthood following a conversation with my assaulter, who I then considered my friend. Most don't realize how quickly trauma can embed itself in your psyche and how adept your brain is at protecting you, albeit incompletely, from the worst events of your life. But after apologizing profusely through tears, my assaulter threatened suicide if I spoke publicly about that person's actions. So while I had established some confidence shortly after the memories came to light, for several reasons, I retained the burden of keeping my assaulter's identity a secret from the public, although my ability to tell my story, and mental health for that matter, is frankly harmed by that secret. In addition to physical health issues arising from this trauma, I've sought many types of therapy, and the therapies that have helped are not well covered by my Mass Health public insurance plan in Massachusetts. Sexual violence where the survivors are cisgender, heterosexual men like me, is not a kind of trauma that's particularly well accepted, but I take it as a responsibility of mine to speak for them. And frankly, when we speak about the importance of passing mass care in Massachusetts, the New York Health Act in New York, and national improved Medicare for all at the federal level, mental health care is too often pushed to the side.
Hands in front of the camera.
I'm just one person, and I certainly have more to share on my experience with healthcare, but take this bit of my story, together with the other stories that I hope you've heard and that I hope you'll hear through the rest of this morning, as just a tiny subset of what is a massive nationwide crisis. Too many people have given up hope. When our president says he'll veto Medicare for all, and our governor in the Bay State, where I live, is deeply bought into so-called moderate small government conservatism that will require a veto-proof majority to overcome. But your average Bay Stater, your average New Yorker, your average American knows that we need universal health care, and preferably before the next major pandemic, please. Thank you to everyone for being here today and everyone at home fighting against this injustice.
Okay, that was Terrence McCudney, candidate for the state legislature in Massachusetts.
So I'm going to start by introducing myself. My name is Shane Coughlin. I'm the president of KRTD Media. KRTD Media was started because the mainstream media has told us lies. Lies like a universal healthcare system will not work. Lies like a universal healthcare system is too expensive. During the primaries of the Democratic election, they unfairly treated Bernie Sanders in many ways because he was advocating for a single-payer, universal healthcare system. Since the primary, he seemed to abandon that fight, but the activists have taken up this fight. And now, today, we are out here in front of Pfizer. Recently, in August, there was a study that showed that the U.S. ranks number 11 out of 11 wealthy countries in the world in healthcare. Now, what many people don't understand is that the U.S. is a sovereign nation that creates its own currency. What that means is we are choosing not to have healthcare because people like Pfizer have bought our politicians and have allowed for them to not vote for things like Medicare for All, to not bring up those bills. We have the money. We have unlimited money in the United States because we create our own currency. And because we create our own currency, there is no reason why we cannot have a universal healthcare system like every other developed nation in the world. Why shouldn't we have one? They have one in the UK. They have one in Canada. Those are not perfect, but we can make it better here. People like Pfizer need to be, specifically the president, the board members need to be prosecuted because the healthcare system in the U.S. is killing people. We are not treating people who are underinsured and who do not have insurance. Many people will argue that universal healthcare is not a popular opinion. Over 60% of Democrats are in favor of universal healthcare. Almost 35% of Republicans are in favor of universal healthcare. In fact, a Republican doctor, Dr. Joe Jarvis, wrote a book about why we need universal healthcare. That is a Republican doctor who's writing a book about why we need universal healthcare. Can you imagine that? But they're never going to talk about that on mainstream media. That is why we need networks like KRTD Media. That is why we need networks like Fred Hampton Leftists, like Coughlin Media, like Jimmy Dore, like all of our other colleagues and allies in the independent media space, because we will tell you the truth. You may not like the truth, but we will tell you the truth. And we will tell you the truth about everything, including the fact that we can get universal health care. We need to start. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there, everyone. Companies not just like Pfizer, companies like Moderna, companies like Johnson & Johnson are responsible for killing people in the United States because they are profiting off of your sickness, off of your illness. We need to put a stop to that. We need to remove their corporate influence in politics by banning corporate money. Because as long as corporate money is allowed to go to politicians, they will continue to be corrupt and they will continue to vote down bills and not even allow bills to come to the floor. We're not protesting the politicians because they actually don't have any power. We're here to protest their bosses, like the president of Pfizer. Thank you.
Hey, Shane. Great talk.
Okay. Before we bring up our final one or two speakers, I just want to say something to jump onto what Shane said, is that whether they're Democrats or Republicans, whether they're so-called progressives or not, they all simp for big pharma. They're all paid for by big pharma. It does not matter. It's a system of greed. You can put all your blame on Joe Manchin. You can put all of your blame on Kirsten Sinema, but they are the rotating villains because it is the entire system that is responsible for this greed. This greed that is deadly, and it's killing people. It's killing working class people. It's killing people of all backgrounds. It's killing people who have fought. It's killing doctors. It's killing teachers, nurses, union workers. This is why we need to come together and not have purity tests and say, oh, well, if I disagree with you on some other issue, you shouldn't be a part of this movement. No, the majority of Americans support Medicare for all. So we can come together on that similarity and build a broad enough coalition, create grassroots movements like this. This is what the revolution looks like. It will not be televised except on KRTD Media, perhaps, but it won't be on CNN because CNN's bought and paid for by Pfizer. MSNBC is bought and paid for by Pfizer. Even Fox News is bought and paid for by Pfizer. And I just want to say, Eric Adams is corrupt. Mayor de Blasio is corrupt. Carl Hasty is corrupt.
Anybody.
Andrea Stewart Cousins is corrupt. Joe Biden is corrupt. Kamala Harris is corrupt. Nancy Pelosi is corrupt. Chuck Schumer is corrupt. And you're not a progressive if you simp for them. If you vote for them. If you donate your money to them, you're not on the side of the working class. If you support these politicians who are anti-working class.
That shit.
We don't make friends with oligarchs. There's only a handful of them, but there are plenty of us. There are millions of us. When we come together, that's how we unite. That's how we scare the establishment, is doing street actions like this. Yes, electoral politics has its place, but these actions that we take into the streets, this is what's going to change things. And when we can get unions on board, we will be unstoppable. We have a few dozen people here today, but next time we're going to have 100 people. And the next time after that, we're going to have 200 people and 300 people. And the CEO of Pfizer is going to be shitting in his pants like a baby.
Goddamn right.
So, with that, we have another speaker, but before they come, I just want to thank our sponsors, Bronx Green Party for sponsoring this, Movement for a People's Party for sponsoring this, Red Berets, KRTD Media, Fred Hampton Leftists, all of you. Without your support, this wouldn't be possible. I mean, think about it. It's 9 o'clock in the morning on a Monday, and we're out here. So, is Harut around?
Hi everyone, my name's Harut. I am a volunteer with March for Medicare for All. I mainly was supposed to just, call out a bunch of politicians who are taking money from Pfizer, but I was standing over across the street making sure everyone was fed, and I was looking at the little sign over there that says science will win, and it really bugged me because somehow all these corporations, politicians have made science into this thing that is highly politicized. And they've been able to do it because essentially we've defunded science education in our schools for decades. And so because of that, people don't understand that the coronavirus is a very dangerous virus. They can't trust our politicians to tell them the truth. So they're going to Facebook, they're going to different social media and getting the news from there, getting their facts from there. But if they had been allowed to be educated, if our politicians hadn't defunded education for decades upon decades, this wouldn't have been an issue. 700,000 people, I think it's 760,000 people as of now wouldn't be dead. And there's going to be more people that die because of places like Pfizer, because of the Democratic and Republican Party refusing to see that education is a large part of the issue today, large part of COVID problems today. So I just wanted to point that out. Linking that to what I was going to say before, both the Democratic and Republican Party are complicit in those deaths. Think about why the vaccine has become a necessity now. It's not because, they want to save lives. It's because the COVID-19 pandemic has gotten in the way of profits in America. Because we had to close up, because we had to, isolate, all these companies lost billions of dollars. And now places like Pfizer are making billions of dollars in the implementation of the vaccine. All we ask from them is to support us in our fight for Medicare for all. That's all. It's a very, we're not asking for much more. Like, of course we should ask for more, but unfortunately our politicians have made it to a point where if we ask for more, it's seen as too much. So I want to stand here and call out all the people that have taken money in Congress from Pfizer. But let's start out with Joe Biden, the man who said that if Medicare for All came to his table, he would veto it. Joe Biden in 2020 received $381,000 from people associated from Pfizer. That was more than Donald Trump, who received $113,000. Think about that. The man who says that he's on our side, that science will win, that he trusts science, has taken all this money from a corporation that does not want to see Medicare for all implemented. Now let's start with the Democrats, because apparently they're the ones that support science but don't want to see us, benefit from it. The Democratic Senatorial Campaign has taken campaign committee has taken $195,000 in 2020 from people associated from Pfizer. The National Republican Senatorial Committee has taken $123,000 from people associated from Pfizer. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee has taken $106,000 from people associated with Pfizer. The National Republican Congressional Committee has taken $100,000. The Republican National Committee has taken $95,000 from people associated from Pfizer. This is not including the individual contributions that Senate and congressional people in the Senate and Congress have taken. That's a lot of money, and it's more than any amount that we've been able to give them. Now, I don't want to put all the blame on them, because it's the system as a whole that's causing them to take this money, because they can't take just the money. They can't take individual contributions like on face value, because how much can we give them when our wages haven't gone up? The minimum wage hasn't gone up in more than a decade. It's been $7.25. Can you imagine living on $7.25 in New York City? We couldn't, but we have a minimum wage that's $15 an hour. Can you imagine trying to pay rent on $15 an hour? I've tried. It takes more than 3 weeks for me to pay my rent on $15 an hour, which means I don't have much else to live on. Imagine that. And how many people in the city are doing that? Millions. So many. So if we want to fix our system as a whole, we have to organize, just like we're doing right now. Not just for Medicare for all, but for higher wages, for better education, for education that's available to all kids, to all children, to all adults, anyone that wants it.
Everyone needs a union.
Exactly. Everyone needs a union. Everyone needs someone that represents them, whether it be in government, at their jobs, at the hospital, everywhere you go. So thank you. Yeah. Also letting everyone know there's free food across the street. I'm a trained organizer, and one of the things that my mentors always told me was that food is a very communal thing. It's something that we share together. It's something that we eat together as a community, and it's really important. And also, so many people are going hungry. So, like, even if you're not hungry, send someone over if they look hungry, or if they see the food over there and they don't know it's free, just let them know. Thank you.
Yep.
We're gonna have our final speaker for the day. We're also gonna, for those who knows about particulars about our diary today, please meet me over there. For any further instructions, but if anyone knows any further instructions, please meet me over there. Josana?
Hi everyone, my name is Josana. I am from the family FHL network. Rome is here live with us, and I am very glad that Sharif invited me here today because it's a personal matter to me. So I'm from Brazil, and we, a third world country, have universal health care. Yeah. So if a third world country that has people dying from starvation can have universal health care, why not a first world country, the richest country in the whole planet, cannot provide health care for their citizens? Really? So also, you have to ask yourself, we pay taxes. We pay more than half of our salaries for taxes, right? Where's this money going? 40% goes to the military to sponsor wars that we do not agree with. Yeah. Taxes are supposed to be invested in infrastructure, and we don't have that in the United States of America. We do not have infrastructure because infrastructure is universal health care, public education, housing, food, and we don't have none of these here. Everything is for sale. Well, guess what, Pfizer? Our souls are not for sale. Yeah, our souls are not for sale, and we are going to fight. And I see y'all in there, very bothered by our presence. Guess what? We're not going nowhere. We are coming back with more and more people. We are going to march. We are going to be making people uncomfortable. That's our job as humans. Because the world needs balance, and it starts here in the imperial core of the world. Yeah, we are going to change it. We are going to bring balance. That's right. And that's all I have to say for today. Thank you all very much for being here.
Thank you so much. That was very powerful. Not be tied to employment. That is the source of our suffering. There's this lack of a sense of urgency from the politicians. We're not going to get Medicare for all through incrementalism. Joe Biden, if he wanted to, through Section 1881A of the Social Security Act, could enact Medicare for all through executive order as an emergency because we're still in the middle of a pandemic. We could have forced the vote on Medicare for all, but we were given too many excuses. AOC, my representative, said that she would have rather used her leverage to get on a committee seat that ended up being lost to Kathleen Rice, who is one of the people who's responsible for gutting Medicare expansion in the infrastructure bill. There you go. We're not asking for Medicare expansion. We're not asking for a public option. We're asking for single-payer Medicare for all. You want two more words from Dana real quick.
All right. You know, you wouldn't believe this if I didn't have it. And I found out I do have it, and I can show it to you. This is my blood. A meth freak came into my house and tried to kill me. You remember meth? It gave the Nazis the great idea of invading Russia. It leads to overreach. This guy was making insane demands. I would not give it in to him. We threw my computer into the street. We threw my phones into the street and cracked my rib. It came back the next night and hit me 3 times right here on the head with a hammer. When they're telling you that Ibogaine is too dangerous to be used, but it's all right to have methamphetamine maintenance, remember, meth drives you crazy. There are Trumpers out there with automatic weapons on meth. I'm not kidding. This is a big thing in like kind of white working class precincts. And it isn't only in the Indian reservations. It isn't only in the gay community where they're trying to use it for sex, which is where this guy came from. It's all over the country. It is not being addressed. Please help me pass this bill in the New York State Assembly, A7928. You can get hold of me through Edwin to Jesus. My blood.
Yep. Hello again, guys. So my name is Sharif Snuggs, co-founder for March for Naked for All. I was asking people if they knew anything about our dying to make their way over there. Just in case you know, the dying is an act of civil disobedience. You can either sit on the floor, you can either lay on the floor. This is a sign, this is a representation of the many lives that are dying in this country, but also too is an act of disruption. We need a lot more disruptions in this country. Full stop. It will not stop. If we don't do more disruptions, we don't do more direct actions, and we don't take it further, we're just not going to get what we want. This act today, and you guys all being community is wonderful. It's great, but we need to apply more pressure, and this is how we do it. So if anyone participating in dying, there's a few things of this note. Your immigrant status, I would caution you if you don't want to participate in this direct action. Just for them to know, if you have any further priors, if you've ever been arrested before, maybe you shouldn't participate in this action. And then if you are going to participate in this action, I need your full legal name, your birthday, and then any personal items that you may have. Just give me, let me collect it. We'll talk about this because at the end of the day, if something were to happen, obviously we do have this gated up here. We do have law enforcement watching. We all know how protests go. You do not want something that happened to your personal items. This full disclosure. Absolutely. All right, guys. Yeah, that's a bit. Everyone's gonna close us out, and then for the rest of us who's gonna participate for that action, please feel free to reach me over there.
All right, chant with me on this. Occupy Pfizer!
Occupy Pfizer!
Occupy Pfizer!
Occupy Pfizer!
Occupy Pfizer!
Occupy Pfizer!
What do we want?
Medicare for all!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Medicare for all!
When do we want it?
Now!
Okay, let's start this dying. Walk this way, please.
Okay, there's an old chant that I find very compelling. And that one is, everybody in, nobody out.
Hey.
How you doing, Case?
Oh, Case. Nice to meet you.
Nice. Can I take a picture?
That
Sure.
I like most. Because
You want to say that?
it's solidarity.
You want to say hi to the KRTD audience?
What's up, everybody? Just here. Just wanted to come out.
Solidarity for all.
I'm in New Jersey, and I had to put the kids on the bus, so I got here late, but I just wanted to come through and support. Anytime there's action, we need to take action. However that is, if you can, you know, everybody counts. So definitely come out whenever there's something to do it. Much love.
Okay,
Nice
Kate,
case.
not here.
Hey.
Okay,
Well,
amazing lineup of speakers.
I know. I do too. So
You taught me that.
hi.
That was an amazing lineup of speakers. I think you all
What do you say?
did great.
I'm just here to support the protest.
And we still have dying coming. Hello.
He say, keep it up, and we start with small crowds, but the more we have space, the more it multiplies.
Absolutely.
You want to say hi to our viewers in the morning?
Sure. Hi, everyone.
I'm going to look for Sharif for you. Want to talk to him? Ron?
Yeah.
Sure.
You don't know how we won from that century on.
Yeah, that's Holly. That's Holly. I met her at my massage protest.
Nice. I want to take a picture with her as well. I always say hi to her in the chat. It's always good.
She's in everybody's chat.
Yeah.
Every single one of us.
Yeah, she's definitely in everybody's chat.
Love you guys.
Awesome.
Solidarity to all of our friends. Hey, talk to you guys. Absolutely. Have an awesome day, guys. Solidarity.
Hey, Scott, you got a second?
I do. Want me up?
Oh, sure.
All right, I'll sit up.
So you want to say hi to the KRTV audience?
Hello, everybody. We're here at Pfizer protesting.
God.
They are the biggest beneficiary of free vaccines for all during COVID, but yet they won't negotiate prices with us to support a Medicare for all system because that would hurt their funding while saving lives. God, that'd be terrible that they would make less money and we could all live. But yeah, as the father of somebody who's lost his child because he couldn't afford his medication, I think Danny's life is way more important than their CEO's benefits or their campaign donations or anything else. So we're showing them what a system that is not Medicare for all, that puts profits over patients, looks like. It looks like people dying in the fucking street.
Absolutely. And you said it was $20?
$20 was the cost of his premium for his managed Medicaid. The medication he was on was Faradone, which is actually made by Jensen Pharmaceuticals, owned by Johnson & Johnson. It was $250 out of pocket for his medication, but it cost $35 in Canada for the same exact prescription, same exact manufacturer, same exact bottle. But Canada has a single-payer universal healthcare system and tells Pfizer that Canadians are more important than their profits. But yet, Pfizer still makes money off of Canadians at $35, but they don't make $250 off of the Americans. They make that much off of them because their profits, the difference between the $35 and $250, more important than them, any American citizen.
Absolutely. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Need me to hold anything, Dad?
Ricky, you got a second?
Yeah, I'm going.
Let me try to get the camera down here.
Hey, everybody, how's it going? I'm dead.
Hey, Ricky.
Oh, that's Joe Firestone. I don't know if you know.
Hey, Joe. Yeah, I know Joe Firestone. What's up, Joe?
Everything's up, Ricky.
Everything's up.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm literally down, Joe. I don't know about that.
Yes, I got a new idea to bring all this crap to the end.
What did you say?
I don't know. What did you say, Joe?
I said we got a new idea to bring all this stuff to the end. To end all this stuff.
Something about the end.
The end?
I don't know. So you helped? Did you help? You helped organize the event, right?
A little bit. It was more Edwin and Sharif on this one.
Yeah.
I promoted it a little bit. I brought a lot of stuff for it. I showed up. Yeah.
Gotcha. And you're laying on the ground.
Yes, and now you're dying in.
He said you're dying in.
I am dead in. I done died. Here I am. Oh,
What a day. It's beautiful out, though. It's beautiful in New York. It's a great day to protest. I'm glad to be here. Glad to have our first one here. A lot of people showed up. Happy for it. Maybe we'll do another one soon. I hope to do another one soon.
Do a lot more.
We should do a lot more. We really should.
I have somebody here every Monday.
Every Monday. Why not? Why not?
Exactly.
I don't see why not. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you. You got a second?
Sure.
Sure. Okay.
What's going on?
So everybody's you're live right now?
Okay. How's it going, everybody? My name's Terrence Cudney. I'm running for state senate in Massachusetts. Sharif was nice enough to invite me down to talk a little bit about my healthcare story in the context of this event to Occupy Pfizer and do a little die-in. Grateful to sit up for a second for my back, but no, this was I think a really important thing to do, to start targeting not just the politicians but target these massive pharma companies that are working to just make profits off of our lives, right? And I think it's really important to have actions like this and do a little civil disobedience. This is my first one of these, which is pretty cool to kind of really engage and be on the streets here. And as someone who's running for office for the first time, I'm learning as I go here how to organize, how to be involved, and so I encourage people to do the same. It's great. It's worthwhile. You need for it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Shane.
Sure. Joe, I will be right back with my coverage.
Okay. So that
address the comment. Joe Firestone, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Joe. Berets, how are you?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Doing great, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for covering
That was
this.
a great event.
Yeah, it's been great so far.
Yeah, Joe's part of KRTD.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I knew that. Yeah. Awesome. Well, good for you. Thank you for covering it, Joe. I appreciate it.
Okay, great to see you here, Terrence.
All right.
Take care. Okay, Terrence is running for the state legislature in the great state of Massachusetts. And he will be advocating for single payer in that state. There's an active single payer movement in Massachusetts right now. And an economic study has been done for Massachusetts by Jerry Friedman, showing that their program will be fiscally sustainable. Of course, we are all for national improved Medicare for all, for NEMA. But while we're waiting for that, it's good to keep the movement alive and thriving by passing single payer in those states in which we can get it. And so that's what's going on here, I think.
You want me to sit up?
Sure.
Hey, Shane.
Okay. Yeah, we're doing some more coverage of the people.
Okay, that's fine. Could people hear my commentary while you were away?
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
My name's Jonathan. I'm no one really special. I'm just a freshly graduated college student. This is my first time attending one of these kind of events, so I just wanted to get more involved in these kind of movements because honestly, if someone has to, and if I can't even bother to get out here to stand here, no one's going to be able. That's none of this is ever going to happen. Like just get up and attend these things. That's really all there is to it. Like, I'm not that motivated of a guy for most things, but like I said, if people like me don't get out here, then none of this stuff will ever happen.
Thank you.
No justice!
You want to say something?
No justice! No peace!
Oh, you
no justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! When the healthcare system is under attack, what do we do? Stand up like that! When the healthcare system is under attack, what do we do? Stand up like that! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! What do we want? When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Medicare for all! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Medicare for all! When do we want it? Now! Occupy Pfizer!
Occupy Pfizer!
Occupy Pfizer!
Occupy Pfizer!
Occupy Pfizer!
Occupy Pfizer!
Fuck Pfizer!
Fuck Pfizer!
Can I get an amen?
Good.
Pharmaceutical companies call us. They don't care.
I'm good. Yeah. Joe, you can do some commentary. I'll be-
Okay, thank you. That was, of course, a terrific lineup of speakers.
They don't care if people die. Pharmaceutical companies call us. They don't care if people die.
I really don't want to interrupt the chanting very much. I think the die-in is going well.
Okay, so here it says M.
Pfizer, can't you see? Right now, G. 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 What do we want? What do we want? Now. What do we want? Medicare for all. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Medicare for all. When do we want it? Now. No justice? No peace. No justice? No peace. No justice? No peace. Occupy Pfizer. Occupy Pfizer. Occupy Pfizer. Occupy Pfizer. Occupy Pfizer. Occupy Pfizer. And Moderna and Johnson & Johnson.
Sure, you got a sec?
What's going on, guys?
Hello, Sharif.
Joe Firestone?
Yeah.
Joe Firestone still? Hey, Joe.
I'm right here. How are you doing, Sharif?
I can't hear him.
He says, how are you doing?
I feel great.
How
Good
are you doing? So let me ask you.
He
says he wants to ask you a question.
Okay, ask what?
Isn't this a great event?
He said, isn't this a great event?
It's a fantastic one.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, it is.
Speakers were great. The diet was great. The commentary on YouTube was great. It's great all around.
Right.
How many people you got there?
How many people came or how many people got left?
Joe, he wants to know if it's how many people came or how many people are left. Joe?
Yeah?
Did you want to know how many people came or how many are left?
How many people came?
You got it? I do. I got it. I said about 30 or 40 people.
There's 30 or 40 people here right now. I think there were a lot more before.
Okay, so about 50 or 60 before?
Yeah, something like that.
Not a bad showing for a Monday morning in New York.
Do you want to say something?
Yeah.
Do you want to say something to the audience?
Yes. Hello, hello. My name is Holly, and what I would like to say is that Pfizer, this company, has been price gouging for years. It goes way back.
Oh, yeah.
And people should not have to go into medical bankruptcy for being for medicine that they need, dying for insulin, dying for healthcare. Pfizer can negotiate and lower the prescription prices. Pfizer can lift the patent to share the technology and allow vaccines to be shared worldwide, especially where they need it in third world countries, as well as the poorer community here in the United States. And that's what I have to say.
Thank you, Holly.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's Holly Horn?
Oh, this is Joe Firestone. Wants to say hi.
Oh, hello, Dr. Joe. How are you?
I'm fine, Holly. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm happy I finally made it. Oh, man. Traffic was horrible.
Oh, you did make it. You did make it all right. I think you always make it sooner or later.
Oh, yeah, better. Well, I guess, better late than never, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's quite an event.
It's a good event. Yes, spirited, attended well enough, especially for 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah, right. And great speeches, too.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, we're all made it. We're all here. So thank you, Dr. Joe. Thank you for saying hi. And we'll see each other in chat.
I'm sure we will.
Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Take care, Holly.
Yeah, Joe, that was Holly.
Yes, I know. Nice to put a face to a name.
Definitely. Anybody want to say something on the air?
I'll say fuck a Pfizer one time.
Sure.
Fuck a Pfizer, bitch.
Fuck Pfizer 2 times. No justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace.
We want Medicare for all, and we want it now. Right now.
Awesome.
Silvatero said, "Oh my goodness, Holly. Glad to see you." That was exciting to see Holly, wasn't it?
I'm going to go, Joe, I'm going to go across the street to the other people who are at the protest and talk to them.
Okay, Shane, go ahead.
As soon as there's a red light.
Yeah, the red light is always a problem in New York.
Got it. Red light now. Except cars are still driving. Are they kidding me?
Yeah, that's New York. Well, I think it's illegal to hit a pedestrian there.
Yes, it is. Hi. You want to say something on the air?
Sure. Support March Medicare for All. Get Medicare for All. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Sure. What's happening over here? Just for everybody to know.
So we're trying to feed anyone that's walking by. Food is a large part of Fortnite. It's got it kind of feeds the spirit. There's a lot of people going through it. You never know when. Can't tell how they look. Unless anyone's walking by, we're off.
They're doing fine.
Awesome. Thank you. And do you want to say anything?
Just thanks for coming out to the march today. Taking and doing the live stream.
Awesome. And you're the one who made the cupcakes, right?
I did. Yep.
Awesome.
Oh, red velvet cupcakes.
Can I put those on the air?
Sure, you sure can.
Oh, they look great.
So what is the red velvet? Is that for blood?
Yep. It's for the lives lost every year.
Awesome.
That's what it's here. Thank you so much for donating. You want a button or a bumper sticker?
Okay. Hey, Ricky.
Yeah, of course. You sure you want to take one for the road? I'm very.
Oh, okay. Well, they're homemade.
Oh.
So, I'm sure they would meet your test, because I made them homemade. Yes, go ahead. No, it's all.
Well, that looks like a pretty nice table for the morning.
Oh yeah, there's Joe. That's great. There's bagels. There's the cupcakes. There's I think those are donuts.
Oh, were they? Very.
Whole bunch of stuff here, Joe.
Yep, and there's coffee too, isn't there?
Yeah, there's coffee.
Like a cupcake.
Great day to die in. I don't know about being a great day to die, Ricky. Wow, amazing spread. That was a pretty good spread, wasn't it?
Hey, thank you guys both. Thank you guys both. Praise over.
I'll be back, Joe. You can do some commentary.
Okay, thanks. I'm not sure what there is to comment on right now. It has been a great event.
A lot of strong voices.
A lot of strong voices, a lot of good speeches, a lot of good commentary on Twitter. A nice speech by Josana. That was very good. Okay, and Edwin was outstanding. As I said on Twitter, Edwin is always on fire. He's Edwin. Sharif was fine, of course. And Scott is always amazing. Scott Denoye, my friend, always amazing. I don't know what we're looking at on the screen right now. Maybe it's Shane's shirt. Lisa was here for a while. I think now she's probably on her way home. I hope. Anyway, folks. We're glad that the event was a success. And we're looking forward to many more events. We need the protest events to keep the movements going, to keep the commitment high, to keep the enthusiasm high. So it looks like things are quieting down. Don't hear much going on right now. The Vegan Beast says, woohoo, Dan the man. Vegan Succubus says, Dan. And Abhishek says, I really want a donut. Kay says, wish I had teeth, laugh out loud. Holly Horn says, thank you, Abhishek. And the Vegan Beast says, scale of 1 to 10, how are the cupcakes? I can tell from here they're a 9.5. How about that? Ah, it looks like New York traffic there, nothing moving. But the cars do seem to be social distancing a little. Oh, Abhishek says they look 10 out of 10. Yeah, maybe.
Joe, if you want to read the comments, that may be a good use of time.
I've been reading comments.
Oh, good.
I've been reading comments as we go. I haven't read all the comments.
Okay. But I'm sure you've read some of them.
I have read some of the comments. I will read some more of the comments that I skipped over a while. There was some discussion which I must admit that I participated in.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
You saw that. Yeah, I thought that was really pretty good. Because there is an issue, and we really have to raise that issue. It isn't meant to be divisive, but it is, it seems to me, a central issue as we go forward with the movement. So Red Berets for Medicare for All, who, as Laura said, I'll donate after I see who's on the steering committee on the website. You have coalition partners who need to know. And Vegan Succubus, whose name I don't know, his real name, says, Laura, don't be ridiculous. I am on the steering committee with Sharif and Ricky.
This is a wonderful, great event.
Please stop sowing discord within our movement. And Vegan Succubus says, Dan, who just spoke, is also on the steering committee. You have been to our meetings. I don't appreciate your disrespectful comments. Personally, I don't see why Laura's comments are disrespectful.
This is a great event. It looks like it's going pretty well, and you know what? I expect more police. This is pretty good.
And Laura said,
Exactly.
do not speak.
We had a protest taking last week. The police apologized to us, and they went in and protested Netflix. The police apologized to us. You saw that stream?
Yes, I did.
The police apologized to us when they went in to yell at Netflix for calling them to waste their time.
Right.
Do not speak to the first coalition partner and board member of the second coalition partner with disrespect. Collectively, we have donated thousands of dollars to M4M4All. And Vegan Succubus says, I'm not here to fight with you, Laura. Please stop disparaging this.
You want to say something on stream?
I don't see any disparaging going on. Do you?
Hold on, Joe. I'm going to put this guy on camera.
Okay.
Whatever you want to say.
I guess I'd say, fuck capitalism. It's the worst. It'll sell your mother for $1. This is the master go. That's not on my mail list.
Awesome.
So Laura said, my request for public transparency is warranted. And I intervened and said, Laura's not being ridiculous. M4M4All is soliciting donations from the public. But the public doesn't know who is making the decisions about how to spend that money. And I said, why the lack of transparency about who was on the steering committee and making decisions about how that money is being spent? And Vegan Succubus said, join us at a general meeting. Nothing is...
Josana, you want to say something?
Hi, everyone. And I'm going to...
Hi,
Josana. Hi, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting us. We're here. Let's do this.
Awesome.
And then I said, when will that lack of transparency end? Laura said, that's an excellent question. Shane W. said, hey, the general meeting is where everyone can meet and greet. Many NSC members are at the general meetings every Sunday. And I said, send me an invitation. I'll be happy to attend. Vegan Succubus said, both of your comments are outrageous and ludicrous. You are sowing discord within our movement for no reason. Laura was at the general meeting yesterday along with Lisa Theobald. We are not secretive. I believe Lisa Theobald was in the hospital yesterday, so I'm not sure how she could get to the general meeting, but that's all right. And Red Berets, that's Laura says, I have attended many meetings. I attended a portion of the general meeting yesterday. Vegan Succubus says, thank you, Shane W. Vegan Succubus says, yes, I know, Laura. I was there taking notes during the meeting. I don't understand why you continue to admonish this movement. Makes zero sense. You know Sharif is on the NSC. I said, look, I've asked a simple question. Why isn't the composition of the steering committee listed on the website so that visitors know who the people are who are making the decisions? And Laura said, then I expect we shall see bios up on the website soon, as well as outreach to your coalition partners regarding the change of direction and strategy from what was originally intended. And I said, asking that question is not being divisive. It's just asking for transparency. If you're a democratic organization, you must be transparent. And by the way, if you're a democratic organization, you must also be inclusive. Vegan Succubus says, I'm done conversing with you in a YT chat. What's wrong with YT chats? I just added that. We are all volunteers in this movement, and they can only do so much with the little resources we have. Is it so much to ask that you put the names of the steering committee on the website? How much does that take in resources? I will share your comments with the rest of the NSC. Who is being ridiculous and ludicrous now, Vegan Succubus? Red Berets says, why? Because I brought the first two coalition partners aboard, and it was with the understanding we would be fighting on all fronts. Case study says, I'm here jumping out the chat. And Laura says, demands always for national Medicare for all.
When the healthcare system is under attack, what do we do? When the healthcare system is under attack, what do we do? When the healthcare system is under attack, what do we do? No justice. No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
What do we want?
Medicare for all.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Medicare for all.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Medicare for all.
When do we want it?
Now.
Fuck Pfizer!
Fuck Pfizer.
Fuck Joe Biden!
Fuck Joe Biden.
Fuck Pfizer!
Fuck Pfizer.
Fuck Joe Biden!
Fuck Joe Biden.
And Laura says, demand always for national Medicare for all, but solidarity with state single payer.
Fuck Joe Biden!
And I think that pretty much ended the debate. Oh no, here's Laura again. That's right. Dr. Jarvis believes in fighting on all fronts. He spoke at Day of the Dead in San Francisco. And just before that, Karen Burke said, thank you to everyone. You all are absolutely amazing. We must continue to stand together and show solidarity always. And I commented later, solidarity is a multi-way street. If you expect solidarity from others, you need to give that solidarity back. Now that's obvious to me. Is it not obvious to everyone? And Sakura 4 said we must take money out of politics. Demand your reps not to take money from corporations. Expose how much money politicians receive from corporations. And I said, but you can demand your reps not take money. You can expose them, but they still will take the money. To stop them, you have to hashtag dump the incumbents. Everyone who takes the money must go. Right, Sukuru? Sukuru says, thank you to indie media like KRTD Media and Fred Hampton leftists. Knowledge is power. Thank you for spreading information and amplifying voices that we don't hear through mainstream, through the mainstream media. And Sakura says, that's right, at Joseph Firestone. Vote out all politicians who take money from corporations. We must be adamant and consistent. Vote them out. I said, thank you, Sakura. And by the way, we need money out of politics too. Without that, nothing good is possible. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
We're going to get ready to wrap up, Joe. You want to finish up some of the comments, and then we're going to get ready in about 5 minutes because my phone is at 15%. I forgot to bring a cord. They have portable chargers, but no cords.
Okay, thank you, Shane. And thank you to Indie Media for working to build solidarity among activists and community organizers. Thank you for working to build a movement, says Sukuru. Stephen Katz, the taxes also go to Big Pharma, Pfizer, and health insurance. It's a wealth transfer system. Johnny Axum said, Josana is going off. Josana, that was amazing, says Abhishek. Silver Tarot 25 says, I love Josana. Sukura 4 says, thank you, Josana. Anti-militarism and healthcare justice go together. We must demand our government stop investing on wars and murdering the innocent and start investing on enriching people's lives. And of course, anti-militarism and climate justice also go together because the U.S. military is the biggest polluter on Earth, as we all know. Shane W. says, thank you for your strength and support, Scott. And we had a comment on camera from Holly Horn. Silver Tarot said, oh my goodness, Holly, good to see you. Abhishek says, at Holly Horn, it was really nice to see you. I'm glad you made it. Wish I could be there too. Ricky Rand says, hey. And the Vegan Beast said, woohoo, Dan the man. Vegan Succubus says, Dan. Ricky Rand says, if you have questions, feel free to go to our website and email us. No need to punch down. I am already on my back. Literally. And Vegan Succubus says that Ricky Rance is commenting from the other side. He says, great day to die. Abhishek says, wow, amazing spread. I really want a donut. Wish I had teeth. Thank you, Abhishek. Scale of 1 to 10. How were the cupcakes? They look 10 out of 10. Kay says, I used to love bagels. The Vegan Bee says, it's when she commented is the issue. I see. Obviously support transparency, but to bring it up during a protest. Oh, screw tactful, Vegan Beast. Screw tactful. You're not tactful to Kaiser. You're not tactful to other people who have a lack of transparency. Why doesn't the same go for you? Why doesn't the same go for you? Bringing up issues is always relevant when the issues are completely justified. That's the idea behind our whole movement. If you're going to have public protests and people have questions about what you're doing in the context of the movement, you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared to answer those objections. You can't simply view a protest as sort of an event where everybody should be cheerleading. It's not about but cheerleading. Ricky Rand says, you can't pretend to care about transparency after not having inquired. I've inquired in many contexts, about why the National Steering Committee is not listed on the website. It should be in the About section on the website. You've got a website. You've got a steering committee. You've got people making decisions. There is no reason why by this evening the listing of the steering committee should not be on your website, Ricky. Abhishek says, Pfizer is running COINTELPRO today. Kay says, good job, protesters. Thank you all. I agree. It was a very good job. And the Vegan Bee says, does Red Berets have a steering committee? They only have info on one person on their website. Great comment. If Red Berets has a steering committee, then it should be on their website. I don't believe Red Berets has a steering committee. Red Berets is a network. It's a network of people. Is M4M4All, is that a network? If it's not a network, okay, is that a proprietorship? If it's a proprietorship, who's the proprietor? Where's the transparency? Okay, Shane, I'm finished.
Okay. So I want to just go over. Thank you, everybody. Sure, you want to say goodbye to everybody?
I was going to say goodbye. No, I'm saying, I'm going to tell you about goodbye. That's someone else wants to say goodbye as well.
Okay.
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. How we guys doing? How you guys feeling?
We're doing fine, Sharif. How you doing?
We're doing good. It's a little nippy out here. We're wrapping up. We're wrapping up right now. We had a good day of the action. We're still doing the die-in at Pfizer. Like I said, you can see here this whole barricade situation is still here.
Yeah, they have the barricades up, especially for you.
Right. Yeah, they did. We're dangerous.
Okay, Sharif, I got a question for you.
Ask what?
From Vegan Succubus, who says, ask Sharif about the National Steering Committee right now. Okay, so the question is, what is the composition of the National Steering Committee of M4M4All?
Oh, so the steering committee is, think of the steering committee like kind of like a big brother, big sister kind of I guess group. My job or role, so to speak, is to help the organizers put together actions like the one we're doing today. That's pretty much it. It's approved. They vote on actions. It's nothing really complicated, really. I mean, all we just really do is talk about what actions.
Right. I understand that perfectly, Sharif. But what I would like to know is, you have a website.
Right.
You have an about section.
Right.
Website. Why isn't there the transparency of listing the people on the National Steering Committee?
They just don't want to do it. You mean why they don't speak like on doing interviews and anything like that?
No. Why isn't there a simple listing of the identities of the people who are making the decisions for M4M4All? Why isn't that in the about section of the website?
That's a good question. I don't know, actually. That's not something we actually thought about doing.
Well, I'm asking the question.
Well, no, I'm answering. I'm saying that that's not something that we ever thought about doing. We never thought about, let me put my name, Sharif Snuggs, or Ricky, or Dan, or Edie, or any of the other members that, on the website and say, hey, these are our steering committee members. We never thought about doing that.
Okay, so you're asking for donations from the public, and presumably you're getting some donations from the public, and there are people making decisions on how to spend the money that is coming in from the public. I assume that's the steering committee. So it strikes me the names of the people making the decisions should be on the website. That's simple transparency for an organization that's supposed to be a democratic organization.
No, that's fair. That's a fair argument. So that's something that we'll actually put into. We'll talk about that this Sunday and ask people, all the steering committee members, to at least who they are, their acts on social media, and then you'll know who they are. It's not a terrible request.
Okay, thank you, Sharif.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
I certainly appreciate that.
Oh, do you have anybody else in the chat who has a question?
Okay, anybody else in the chat have a question? Okay, there was a comment from Bavig and Succubus who said Sharif is on the National Steering Committee and is a co-founder of M4M4All. So is Ricky.
Also Dan as well, who is also here as well.
Right. And so I understood Sharif was a co-founder of M4M4All, but the information I received was actually that Sharif had resigned from M4M4All some time ago.
Okay, perfect.
Now,
absolutely. We're about to leave from here.
Committee. Just for your information, Vegan Succubus.
Mm-hmm. Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry. There was someone talking to me. I apologize.
That's all right. So Vegan Succubus said Sharif is on the National Steering Committee and is co-founder of M4M4All. Okay, along with Ricky. I understood that to be true, but I also understood from other people, Sharif, that you had resigned from the National Steering Committee at some point and were no longer officially a part of the steering committee.
Oh, 1 second, Joe. Yeah, all right. Just let Otto know that you're leaving.
Yeah. And,
okay.
If you want, I can see if I can get some more people to come just in case something.
Okay, heard. We're about to head out anyway, but we're going to talk to him anyway.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye out, but feel free to let me know.
Okay, heard. Yeah, so what happened was that I actually stepped down as PR spokesperson for the March for Medicare for All. And so now Edwin holds that title of PR spokesperson, even though it kind of overlap a little bit because I'm also the co-founder. A lot of people do reach out to me to speak at actions and podcasting and that nature. So when I stepped down as PR person, I actually assumed that I was no longer on the National Steering Committee. So that's what I told the members, that I wasn't on the steering committee anymore, because I thought my position held that in good standing. But a lot of the members from the National Steering Committee told me that they would have liked me to still be on the steering committee, even though that I wasn't holding the PR position. And they granted me the position of action coordinator, leading action, so to speak. Basically what I'm doing now, I kind of do a lot of action. So my role would be pretty much being the point person for that. So there is going to be a national action. People will be directed to come to me, so to speak, for that action. So at one point I was out, but it wasn't something that was voted upon. It was something that more or less miscommunication or for lack of a better word, my own assumption that I didn't have that title anymore.
Thank you for explaining that, Sharif. Yeah. It's now all very clear.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. I'm happy for the transparency.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, so Joe, what else you have on the timeline? What else you got? Any questions you have for me?
No, I don't have any questions. I don't have any further questions for you. I don't have any questions for anybody else. I think the event was a great event. I'm so happy it happened, and congratulations.
No, thank you. All you guys are amazing. All the people in the chat are amazing. Joe, you're amazing. People on Twitter, we're getting a lot of love and appreciation for our action today. So I'm really excited about this.
And you should be.
Yeah.
Well worth being excited about it. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yes, I am too. I'm gonna give you Shane because we're about to wrap up.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Shane, I guess we got the story.
All right, we're done, I believe.
Okay, so Shane, I think we got the story, didn't we?
Yes, you did it. We got it. You're great journalism. Okay, thanks everyone for tuning in to the protest and the die-in. The protest and die-in are ending now. Everybody seems to be going home.
And thank you, vegan. Medicare for all. Everybody in, nobody out.
Now.
Medicare for all now. Everybody in, nobody out.
Okay, thanks everyone for tuning in today. That concludes the Occupy Pfizer protest and die-in with commentary from Joe Firestone and with me on the ground. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
And thank you all. It's been a great morning.
Okay. We're going to end now. Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye, everyone.